Hello everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Veil Tarot and Astrology. My name is Candace Marie. Thanks for joining me. Happy Friday evening. I hope you guys are doing well. We're gonna be doing live readings on the channel this evening. Do me a favor and give me a thumbs up if you can see me. Give everybody a little bit of time to kind of show up and shuffle in. How's everybody doing? All right, well, we're gonna be doing these tarot readings. If you're new to doing this, just a little bit of info about how this works. You're gonna see a QR code pop up on the screen. You can scan that, it's gonna take you to my PayPal. We're doing 1 or 3 card spreads. $20 donation for 1 card, and it's gonna be $40 US dollars donation for a 3 card spread. Ask any one question that you would like. Do consider joining my memberships also. If you guys get in on level 3, you're gonna get a reading with me once a month. We're here every Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And we alternate between tarot and astrology. So we're gonna be doing tarot this evening. I know we've got a number of people who are already in the chat. Just want to say hello. I got MK, Karen, David's here, Jessica, Chris, Gibson, and Miss Dietz. How's everybody doing? I'll give you guys also a little bit of a heads up in terms of who I've got, because there's a couple people here for level 3. We do the level 3 memberships first, and then we will be taking the everybody else who's in the queue. We'll let you guys know how long we're gonna leave the queue open, probably for like a half an hour or so, and we'll give you a countdown and let you know how much longer we have before we close the reading. So if you decide you want to get in, just scan the QR code and make sure when you make your donation on PayPal, in the memo selection, let me know any information you want pertaining to your question. And we're going to be starting with MK and Christine because they're level 3 members. And it looks like we've got Amanda, Jessica, Vanessa, Karen, and Rachel right now in the queue. What's up, DH? Says, who's ready for Aries season? Hey, Shine. Thank you guys. If you guys sent a donation, I already got you here, don't worry. So if I called your name, and I'll let you guys know who's up next up in the queue. All right, so let's get going. Let's start with MK. I'm not sure if MK's here. MK said, hello, I'd love to cash in on my monthly reading. My question is, go back to school in what ways? If I go back to school, in what ways can I expect to grow as a person? I'm an Aquarius rising, Scorpio sun, Virgo moon. Thank you so much. All right, so you have got, I like that you're going to be having some eclipses that are going to be taking place. I wonder what you're going back to school for. Is it something creative? Scorpio sun. That's interesting that you're going back to school too. Okay, cool. So let's take a look. Let's see for MK what going back to school looks like. And then we'll take Christine next. All right. Oh, there they are. Hello. All right, so in this order, we've got the 4 of Pentacles, the 9 of Cups, and the Knight of Pentacles. Well, one thing I will say about this particular spread is it does seem to really help you grow, not just financially, but in a sense of like your self-esteem and your security as well. So we've got 2 Pentacles showing up, so that talks about leveling up, you know, perfecting a craft, things revolving around feeling more stable and secure in terms of what you know and what you're doing for a living. The first card is the 4 of Pentacles. So that can be that sense of feeling like in the past position, you know, maybe you're feeling limited, or you're feeling like it's hard to proceed forward, or it's hard to be able to like, advance in your career, right? This is a card that deals with like holding on to something too tight, or staying in a position where you feel like it's like safe and secure, but not really experiencing like growth. So with the 4 of Pentacles coming up in the past position, it's basically saying like you're getting outside of your comfort zone and you're kind of getting into something different and you're willing to take a chance. that can be about investing time. That can be about investing energy, money into furthering your education and like learning to trust the process, basically. To see like something evolve from a 4 to a Knight tells me also that this is going to improve, I think, your overall sense of like home security. Okay, I know that sounds weird, but like if your goals are to achieve more in your career and get to a point where you feel like you can advance to home ownership or being able to have more of a comfortable, secure financial situation that's making you feel like you have more options and choices with where you're living or how you're living, this is one way that this is going to benefit you. With this in the past position, I would say the one thing you want to take into consideration is not holding on to old beliefs too tightly, like not being in a situation where you're not open to learning new things. This also means that you're changing the way that you look at what you value. Maybe in the past it was like, well, I value having more free time, right? Now you might be realizing, well, I'm willing to sacrifice that if that means that I'm going to get more of what I want in the future. So learning not to be so closed, learning to be more open, not being so rigid, not being afraid of change. Then we have in the current position the 9 of Cups. And so this is great because this is like the wish card. Really what it tells me is that you want to go back to school, that you want to learn more, you want to grow. The 9 of Cups for me is the wish card. So this is about wish fulfillment and feeling like you're either getting into the school that you want or into the program that you want. It's about doors opening for you and feeling more positive and optimistic about what the future holds. That 9 of Cups can also be talking about like feeling overjoyed and a sense of accomplishment for getting in, for pushing yourself, for making some of the shifts that you needed to make happen in order to facilitate completing a higher level of education. For me, this is also really beyond just personal accomplishments. It's like really feeling good about the ability to, get outside of your comfort zone once again, because, these 2 cards could not be more different. 4 of Coins is like, leave me here. I'm good here. I'm just going to keep working harder, not necessarily smarter. But then the 9 of Cups is about joy and feeling optimistic and also being able to like share and indulge in resources, sometimes in riches. Sometimes it's about like really feeling like you found your dream position or your dream niche. So it may bring you to that, but this is kind of my green light card. So it's saying that, things should go well in a sense of really enjoying and being optimistic about the future. Then we have the Knight of Pentacles coming up, and the Knight of Pentacles, it talks about new ventures that you're going to be going on and learning new skills, but not quite like a page. A page would be like, oh, I'm just getting into school. Knight of Pentacles is like, I know some things. I'm just here to kind of finish something up. I'm reading your comment now. I became burnt out in school. Okay, and now I'm feeling like I really have an experience. Yep. And also like this time around, it's not feeling like you have to go to school, right? It's making the choice and also doing, choosing a I guess like a major or choosing like a program that's going to resonate with the kind of work you'd like to do. Okay, so it's all about how you're looking at it now. That's really what's changing. But back to the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is slow and steady wins the race. It does say it's about taking your time and really applying yourself. There is a sense of maturity when looking at this, and it's also about this evolution that takes place in terms of what you're learning about investing time, hard work, dedication. The Knight of Pentacles is probably the most reliable of all of them. So I really see this as like slow and steady. I don't see this as you getting burnt out on school again. I also feel like for you, this can indicate that, you're seeing the potential for growth in your career, and it's really teaching you a lot about the skills and like the technicals revolving around, what kind of work you want to do in the future. And it's really teaching you in a way that has a lot of depth, and it's like very valuable. So I think that your money is going to be well spent, especially going from the 4 to the Knight. It kind of suggests that at first you were kind of like, what is the point? Am I wasting my time? And now that you've given yourself some time to figure out what you don't like, now you know what you do want to do, and you're investing in that, and you're going to see a positive outcome. I do feel like the Knight of Pentacles is saying that it can take like a longer period of time. So I don't know if you're doing like a 2-year degree, a 4-year degree, what you're doing, or if you're just saying, hey, I'm just going to get started and see how it goes. I'm like, once again, slow and steady wins the race. That's what I always say when I see the Knight of Pentacles. There's no need to kind of rush through this. So if it's a matter of saying, I want to get from, you know, point A to point B, then what degree do I have to complete now to, you know, kind of get myself on the way moving forward? There may also be some kind of support that comes through, you know, like there could be support of counselors and, you know, other people who are going to be working with you and maybe like training you, or there might be some opportunity to shadow somebody. So you get more of an opportunity, because Knights are about action, to really apply what you're learning and get into the field early and like have that like on the job experience and see what it would really be like to do that type of work. So I see it as like, you know, being given not like an express pass, but opportunities to kind of get into the field and get situated and get a feel for it. And it makes me feel like it's something that you'll stay with, because the Knight of Pentacles is generally somebody who's very dedicated to their cause. They're not going to stray from what they're doing, even if it takes them forever. They're gonna get the job done. So I'm excited to see what you're doing. What are you going back to school for? Have you decided what you're wanting to study? Let us all know. I'd love to hear. But I'm excited to see how these doors are opening for you, and you're approaching education from a very, very different perspective now. Thanks, Chris. I will take a look at yours in just a second. Thanks, Jessica. What's up, E? Hey, Diana. Just wanted to say your Sag reading was spot on. I'm collaborating with the yoga studio. Cool. I love that. That's so exciting. Where are you doing that at? Okay, so now we've got Christine. What's up, Christine? So we've got the live for you. And let's see what your question is. All right, so you're asking about your mom's health. Will she get better? And you have an exam in July. Well, let's see what the cards say. MK, that's really wonderful. I feel like maybe like that Knight of Pentacles is about opening doors for you to be able to like do that work and travel, or like working like on location, or doing some kind of like training on location. That's wonderful, Diana. Congrats. How exciting. Okay, Chris, let's take a look. Cancer rising. She's a Cancer rising Libra sun, your mom. So which question? Do you want me to look at your mom, or do you want me to look at the living stuff? Let me know. I got you, Rachel. So those of you guys who are waiting, this is who we've got in the queue. Amanda, Jessica, Vanessa, Karen, Rachel, Brandon. Let's take a look at what this says for Chris. So we've got Ace of Pentacles, Knight of Swords, and the Devil card coming up. Okay. Okay, cool. I gotcha. So I've got Ace of Pentacles, Knight of Swords, and the Devil. So in regards to health, it's kind of interesting because we've got two polar cards here. So we've got the Ace of Pentacles, which can represent physical situation, health, body, wellness. And then we've got the Devil card, which can talk about restriction, limitation, feeling bound by a situation. So these are both like very different. So looking at what you said, she's, let's see, I think you said she's there There we go. Libra sun, Cancer rising. Okay. So, you know, some food for thought, just being that she's a Libra, you know, Saturn's in Pisces, so that's going to be 8th house to her sun. Excuse me, 6th house to her sun. So it represents like health related matters, although there's no like real retrogrades or anything happening unless she's like a mid-degree Cancer. The Mercury retrograde can be going into the 6th house. It'll be Sagittarius. So what you're going to want to watch is going to be right around like the last 10 days of December. We will see Mercury retrograde in the 6th house for a Cancer rising, and that's going to be about a change in direction with their health. And then we're going to see a conjunction with Mars. So, you know, accidents, fevers, digestional issues, those things can happen in the 6th house. We'd have to look at the whole chart. So I'm not going to tell you, you know, just based off of what you're telling me with her ascendant, but it is worth mentioning that the retrograde will be in her 6th. This is basically saying that things have been more or less stable, but I'm wondering if there's issues going on with her feeling like she's having issues breathing, because the King of Swords can be about mastering the ability to communicate, or breath because it's the element of air. This can also be saying that there is some limitation in terms of her feeling like stable, like, you know, like whether this is looking at her vitals, whether this is looking at, you know, her cognitive function, because this can be about like mental abilities and communication abilities. The King of Swords could potentially be that they're speaking up and saying to you, like, I'm having a problem. Like, I feel like this is an issue, because the Devil talks about restriction and limitation and something that's being suppressed. So has she said anything to you like, I can't breathe, I'm having issues catching my breath? Is she telling you that there's tightness, that she's feeling like that there is like a heaviness on her chest? Has there been anything like that has come up? Because if there has, that's something that should be taken seriously. You know, the Devil card can literally be talking about Saturn. That's why I started talking about Saturn at the beginning of the reading, because a lot of Libras, regardless if they're a sun, moon, or rising, are having health problems right now. A large clot in her lungs. Okay. And unable to swallow. Okay. So for me, I really feel like it's important that there is somebody who is helping manage and staying in contact with her, because the King of Swords is about being able to communicate, right? So like if you feel like she can't communicate very well, there needs to be somebody who is with her that's keeping an eye on her while she's going through this process of like healing and kind of regenerating. You know, for me, the true death card, it would not even be the death card. It would be like the Ace of Swords reversed. You know, it would be maybe the Tower card, maybe the Ace of Coins reversed. None of those cards came up. So for right now, it seems like she's stable, but like there is a need to make sure that you're monitoring her breathing and making sure that she can communicate. I'm seeing this being less about like issues relating to dementia or Parkinson's. I'm seeing it more being relating to her inability to breathe and communicate. So I don't necessarily see her going anywhere, but I do think that the Devil card is talking about some kind of restriction and like needing to get to where airways are being cleared. So if she's having issues with airways in her, not just her lungs, but also her throat, that's something that you really need to pay attention to, because I feel like this is about where there can be healing that's taking place on the lungs. And if there's issues with her throat, if you've got both of those things working against her and she's like, I can't communicate, I can't breathe, that's when you're going to start to have a problem, right? Where is your mom? What is positive is that I looked at a confirmation card because the final card was so gnarly. The confirmation card that I got was the Knight of Cups, the King of Cups. So I see that as long as she can feel emotionally stable, as long as she's getting some kind of support. This can also be talking about like, obviously the King of Swords and the King of Cups are masculine figures. So this can be talking about other family members that are there to help support her. They're coming up as masculine energies. So that can be, you know, like brothers, uncles, you know, husbands, dads, whatever, other people who are going to be there that are going to be around, that are helping support her, because you've got two kings on each side of the equation. But yeah, I really feel like it's important that there is somebody who is like monitoring her breathing. And the second that she's feeling like she can't communicate, that's something that you should take really seriously. What I also have a feeling about with that Devil card coming up is that it is talking specifically about this particular time period. So Capricorn season, you know, for her going through this whole shift, especially as a Libra, the retrograde relating to home and family and other people who are coming in to kind of help support her. So there may be like another person that's showing up that's going to be, helping throughout this process. But I do feel like she has a lot of support. And the silver lining to the reading is that the Ace of Pentacles is coming up, which is saying that there is solid health behind this. Like there is an opportunity to kind of rebound. But I feel like if she's getting emotionally worked up and she feels like she can't communicate, that's when she can kind of panic and have, further issues with breathing. I'm so sorry to hear about your mom. Sending her lots of good vibes. Please keep us updated and let us know. I have a couple readings booked with you, so I'm sure you'll let me know, and yeah, we'll be thinking positive thoughts for her. It's a good thing that your sister is there to help. Hey MJ, hey DH, sends lots of good vibes too. Hey Sonia. All right, so let's take a look. Who else do we have here? We have Amanda. And then Jessica. Amanda says, I recently began seeing a Pisces Sun, Gemini Moon. The connection with him has been slower than some of my more recent relationships. It could be part to the long distance between us, but I wonder if there's more than that. Can you pull some cards and see how he's feeling about me and the connection? Any advice or insight would be appreciated. I'm a Virgo rising, Cap Sun, Taurus Moon. Change my mind, tell me about love. Okay. All right, so this is for Amanda. So let's see what's going on with this Pisces Sun, Gemini Moon. What do we need to know about this connection? Is there something else going on? Is it the distance? How is he feeling about the connection? Here we go. We've got the Devil, the Fool, and the Page of Wands. Oh, don't let the Devil be the card of the evening, please. Okay, so in this deck, I have two Devil cards. So the first one talks more about actual limitation and some separation. This one deals more with like temptation. So basically, the Devil card coming up with the Fool, we've got two major arcana cards. This is saying essentially like, for you, I think the challenge is that this is a very different dynamic than what you're used to having. And I don't know if it's the relationship per se or the type of person that this is or, yeah, sure, the distance. But, the Devil card and the Fool has me wondering, like, are you questioning whether or not you should be like, oh, should I show up and like see this person? Are you thinking about that? Are you trying to figure out if there's like something that's going on and that's why you're not hearing from them? I'm not seeing any funny stuff. I'm not seeing anything like other people. Obviously there's no court cards. There's a page here, but there's no other like women showing up. So I don't think it's a situation where you've got somebody who's, kind of like distant because they're seeing other people. I don't see that. I do feel like the Devil card with the Fool is talking about where there can be challenges in feeling truly connected because of the distance. And the Devil card can also be kind of insinuating that there is something very tempting about the idea of going further with this relationship, that there's something that kind of pulls you in and makes you question, what the future holds and like what is possible. The Fool card coming up in the current position, also makes me feel like you're in a situation where you're like, okay, I have to just take a chance on this person. Like I have to put myself in a situation where I'm willing to do relationships differently. I am willing to, move forward and try new things and not allow myself to be, you know, getting held back, right? Like not repeating old patterns that you've had in previous relationships, taking a chance, taking a leap forward, trusting the process. I also feel like this can talk about with the Page of Wands that there is a lot more opportunity for growth and development in the relationship when the two of you guys are physically together and doing things. So how is this working if you guys are at a distance right now? Can you tell me? And then the Page of Wands coming up also makes me feel like it's a situation where, you know, there is a sense of spontaneity to this relationship. When you guys come together and you're more active and you're doing things physically, you're not going to have as much doubt about the relationship because you're going to see that like the chemistry is there, the connection is there. You guys are able to actually go and like have adventures and do things together. Pages do talk about the beginning process and like an initiation. So I think that if this is the kind of relationship that you guys have, that when you are together, you're very active and there is a lot of, you know, togetherness, that when you're apart, you're like, wait, is the connection still there? Like, are we still moving forward? Are we good? I don't really see this as a situation where this person is straying. I am curious if you've been contemplating whether or not you're going to like, you know, bust a mission, make a trip, go and see this person. If you're going to be, you know, trying to connect with them and see what they've got going on, maybe like surprising them, because, you know, the two cards coming up together is like kind of suggesting that you're curious about what's going on when you're not around, or whether or not this is actually going to limit your ability to move forward. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't think that's going to be the case at all. I think that somewhere around the beginning of the new year, because the Fool card talks about like spontaneity, but it's also about like, you know, Aquarius season, or coming into the beginning of the year. I think that that's probably the time that you're going to be able to come together with them, or, you know, possibly be able to plan a trip or find new ways to connect, even at a distance, right? Like the Devil card with the Fool can talk about finding ways to kind of like keep the intimacy alive, or finding other ways to be able to kind of connect and communicate, even when there is a distance between the two of you. And maybe the Page of Wands is just finding creative ways to kind of keep that connected. It's kind of the feeling that I'm getting. I mean, you're all earth, you know, so there's like a lot of like, I'm going through the motions, like practically and literally, like, what are we doing? And, you know, this person's got a lot of mutable in their chart. And the Gemini moon, Pisces sun can indicate they go through periods of being really social and kind of like there and curious and communicative. And then they go through periods where they're kind of like dormant and they're more private. So you'll see things kind of happen in like bursts. So I feel like if you guys can find ways to physically get together and do more, or find ways to be able to make time more consistently, and be maybe planning a trip or doing something in the future, you'll feel that togetherness more when you guys are able to reconnect. Okay? Good luck. Let's see. So we've got Jessica. Let's see. What did Jessica say? Jessica said, general reading, whatever comes up. 27 degrees Scorpio rising, Aquarius, Sun, Gemini, Moon. Okay, let's take a look. Ooh, I like this. Justice. Knowing that you're a Scorpio rising and you just recently had these eclipses in Taurus and also in Libra, it represents a lot of clearing out in regards to the love and relationship department. Clearing out what hasn't been working, what has to go, what's been kind of lurking in your subconscious. And the Justice card does talk about relationships. It does talk about relationships and balance and karma. It talks about timing, especially with the Seven of Pentacles crossing it. Questioning, you know, what you want in relationships, what you're willing to give in relationships. Maybe being more selective with who you're spending time with or who you're allowing yourself to connect to. I'll tell you, just knowing your astrology, you know, the next week or two, watching Venus go through Scorpio, It brings a lot of opportunity for attraction for you. Like you can get a lot of other people's attention. You can be drawing people in very quickly, very suddenly, especially in this next week as Venus comes into opposition with Uranus. So there may be like a chance meeting or an encounter where like somebody, you know, like catches a glimpse of you and then they don't want to leave you alone. And I think with the Justice card, it's just reminding you that while you're in a period of kind of like weighing your options when it comes to future relationships, the Seven of Pentacles is saying that you need to be very selective about where you're investing your time or your energy and making sure that it's not on just anything. I know Saturn in your 5th house is definitely making you focus more on relationships that are going to feel like it's giving you everything that you need, that you are satisfied, right? Saturn in the 5th house is saying you need to love yourself first before other people can really love you. So I think that there's still a lot of like clearing out that's happening right now. No specific person that's coming up, although the Justice card can talk about people coming in to help you restore the balance in relationships. But with all the planets going through, you know, your 1st and your 2nd and your 3rd house right now, it's really about who am I? How can I better communicate? How can I tell people what I need or not, especially with this retrograde. Mercury's in aspect to Jupiter in your 7th. So it's about telling people like, okay, if I am going to participate in a relationship or if I am looking, you know, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I like. This is what I don't like. And telling people exactly what your intentions are so that way you can kind of trim the fat, right? A little bit better. But yeah, there's definitely some stuff that you're still clearing out. Watch for the Venus-Uranus aspect. That can definitely bring something up for you in the next week or so. Hopefully that's helpful. We've got Vanessa. Let's see what Vanessa said. And then after Vanessa, we have Karen and Rachel and Brandon. Vanessa says, I have 3 separate questions. Okay, I gotcha. I want to modify my child support order. I've been getting the same amount of $200 for the past 13 years. When is a good time to make changes? And will it be a smooth process? There's that one. And then should I be concerned or protect myself from my sister's ex's family? I don't trust them. Ooh. Your sister's ex's family. And then number 3, how's it looking for the next few months for my sister to get reunification with her boys? Will the courts be in her favor? Can you give me insight? Okay. So let's do number 1. I want to modify my child support order. I've been getting the same amount for 13 plus years. Is it a good time to make the change? Well, Queen of Swords says, sounds like you already started looking into it or maybe looking into filing paperwork. To me, this is about feeling like having your voice heard, you know. Queen of Swords, she's a queen, but she represents the element of air. So speaking, writing, sharing, filing, speaking up, asking for something, taking a stand, directing your energy. I feel like it's definitely a card that says that you're going to do this. You may already be in the process of doing this or looking into how to do it. I don't see why not, because the Queen of Swords does not generally make any moves unless she feels genuinely like justified in doing so. When I think of her, I think of like Libra, Aquarius, Gemini. That's like, okay, we have to have the conversation. We do the research, we make sure that we're in the right, and then we kind of make moves. And air is a much more masculine energy, so it's very matter of fact. It's not like super sensitive and thinking about necessarily like whose feelings it's gonna hurt, or, you know, if somebody's gonna take it personally, or if they're gonna kind of, you know, react. They're just kind of like, this is the way that it is. So I do feel like it's important for you to make sure that when you do go through the process of doing this, that you don't mince words. You're very meticulous about getting the correct information and making sure that you're putting all of the information forward about how long it's been and everything that you've been doing to maintain your current custody, you know, arrangement, and the fact that, you know, for the most part, there hasn't been any changes. So you may have to give a somewhat formal or lengthy explanation as to why you're requesting an increase, but I feel like you're going to handle it really well, and you're going to be very well spoken. Number 2, should I be concerned to protect myself from my sister's ex's family? I don't trust them. The card that I get is the Sun card. To be honest with you, I feel like kind of asking a question about whether or not you're safe, and then the Sun card kind of coming up, for me, makes me feel like you're protected. This is a very positive card. This also talks about, masculine energy, protective energy. It's about glowing like white light. Like maybe if you feel like there's something that could potentially affect you, you kind of incorporate that into a meditation. This is also talking about like coming out of like a situation that's been difficult and overcoming it, and like having a moment where there is some sense of like growth and happiness and joy. So this is not typically a card that you see when you're like, oh, so-and-so is going through a breakup. I feel like, there may be a sense of people being happy or, at least supportive or positive or optimistic about the fact that this relationship has changed. So, they may have family that are questionable or that you don't trust, but to me, it seems like there aren't any bad intentions. Like nobody's trying to do anything that's going to be impacting anybody's family. If anything, there's a lot of like, okay, this is finally coming to an end, and like, let's see, this is a good thing. And I don't really see them trying to energetically or literally inflict anything on anybody that's associated with your family. So no, I'm not really worried about that. And I feel like also like illuminating the situation is really important. So rather than being like, oh, are they going to do something? I would be like, do I need to light a candle to, help protect myself or my sister, or helping them heal, maybe saying, hey, I'll burn an orange candle for you to kind of like, clear the way of all of this so you guys can move forward, or lighting a white candle for healing can be really, really helpful as well. And then number 3 is, how's it looking for the next few months for my sister to get reunification with her boys? Will the courts be in her favor? Can you give me any insight? I love that for I don't know if it's the same sister, but for the Star card to come up and the Sun card to come up, it's like shining a light on a situation where there is going to be healing. There is going to be a transition of sorts. There is a connection, because the Star card is about the connection to a group. It's about connecting to more than one person. This is also about healing after a particularly difficult time. I see this as a situation where, this card comes after the Tower. So it's like after everything's kind of fallen apart, there is an opportunity to rebuild. And I also really feel like this is a positive card, because it's saying that there will be an opportunity to come together as a group and be together as one again, right? That's really what Aquarius is. It's about how, multiple individuals come together and then they become one. This can be a timing card also. It's interesting that that card came up talking about Leo, and then this card comes up talking about Aquarius. So I kind of feel like right around Aquarius season, maybe around the full moon that you're going to see in Leo. That's probably when you're going to see some changes, which makes sense because Leo deals with children and then Aquarius deals with groups. But that's probably the timing that I would look at. You might want to look at, what house is Leo for her, what house is Aquarius, and then look at the transits going through there. Obviously, Pluto's going to go into Aquarius, so that could be part of it. But yeah, I do see some kind of union coming from this. And generally, these are all like really positive cards. So I would say, although all 3 of these situations do seem stressful, to me it seems like there is some kind of like resolution coming for all of them, which is going to be, definitely about finding some opportunity to have like happiness and joy and like positivity revolving around relationships with children on both ways, you and also for your sister. Yeah, maybe like lighting a healing candle for her or doing something. Like sometimes it can be helpful if like you're like deep in that mess. You need other people to help do it because you're just like so kind of staticky, So maybe you guys can do that for each other. Maybe you can ask her to do that for you and you can do that for her, since you guys are both going through not similar but difficult, relational issues in regards to ex-partners and family. Hopefully that's helpful for you. Sending you guys lots of good vibes. Good luck. Also, being a Cancer rising, Pluto's going into your 8th house. So you're like, I need to get paid. If you guys are just tuning in, you can scan the QR code up here. You can get in the queue before we close it down for a reading. I've got Karen, Rachel, and Brandon. All right, so let's see. Karen says Scorpio Sun, Pisces Moon, Aqua Rising. Did you have a particular question, Karen? Let's see, where are you? For some reason, I thought I saw you. Maybe I'm crazy. There you are. I saw you at the top. Do you have a particular question for me? Team Cancer Rising. Yeah, you guys are all like, you're in your F you pay me period. All of you guys. Let's see. Rachel will be next. Oh, can't wait to hear about you and Pajama Guy. Brandon's here. I'll get you. Kemy's here. I got you. And then Adriana. Butterfly, you can pay through PayPal or through Super Chat. That's funny because we've been through it. Yes, you guys have been through it. You're ready to say goodbye to Pluto. All right, so I'm not seeing Karen. So Karen, I'll just do your reading for you unless I hear from you. She's got an Aquarius rising, Scorpio Sun, Pisces Moon. Holy cow, all those transits happening, right? Pluto coming into your ascendant sign, squaring your 10th house sun. You got Saturn around your moon. You're dealing with some outer planets, my girl. Let's see what these cards say. These are your these are your transits. These are your cards. Hello. This is crazy. The Empress, the Emperor, and the Nine of Pentacles. Wowzers. Okay, so I always get curious when the Emperor and the Empress come up together in a reading, because for me that talks about, parenting things. It talks about integration and balance of masculine and feminine. It talks about major changes going on with your sun and your moon. There's a lot of different interpretations, but the first position I get is the Empress. So this talks about nurturing, motherhood, maternal energy, growth, life, and like really doing what has been necessary to take care of the emotional body, okay? Which makes sense, being, an Aquarius rising. You've got all these, Jupiter, Uranus transits happening in the 4th house. It has that kind of vibe that's similar to Cancer, where there's maybe been a lot of changes with home, family, mothers, your emotions, but it's made you stronger, right? The Nine of Pentacles coming up is saying that you've realized that you can have wealth, not just in a physical sense, but in an emotional sense. There is a sense of resilience, and realizing what you're capable of, and like learning how strong you are and that you're able to fend for yourself and then some. That's a card that's about success. It's about thriving. It's about having luxury and being able to give yourself all of the things you need. It's like you are daddy with that card, right? And then we have the Emperor card coming up in the future position, which talks about masculine energy. It talks about physical changes in your career, changes with how you execute tasks, how you assert yourself, career shifts, status changes. For me, I look at this as like a power couple developing. I look at this as, like I said, a real integration of masculine and feminine, and maybe you've been really focusing on taking care of your emotions, your home, your family, your private life. And now that you're getting your home in order, now you're starting to feel okay. Now you can get other things kind of in order as well, which may be more external. It's not as private as, the Empress card. It can also talk about, finding success and being able to be successful and bringing in a partner or having that same level of success within a relationship where you guys are supporting each other and kind of helping each other grow. This can also really be about getting to a point where you're feeling like you're so successful or you're building so much that you're able to help like take care of or support family as well. Definitely a lot of Aquarius risings are feeling this because that Jupiter-Uranus aspect in your fourth is really saying it's building in a direction where there's going to be some integration of the family or living in a new dynamic or having some kind of big home or family change. And so maybe this is about you being like, yeah, it's a lot, but I can take it on and I feel really confident in also having the physical or the financial wherewithal to bring it together. But yeah, I'm really curious to see how these two resonate. So if you come back on the chat and you're watching this, leave me a comment because I'd like to hear what this is about. But I love that the Nine of Pentacles is in the center and it's very, very, very secure, and it also seems to really kind of indicate that you're like, I've got this, like I can handle this. Even though it seems like it's a lot, maybe you're wearing more than one hat right now. There is a sense of not just surviving, but thriving throughout this process. Good luck. I love when I see those two cards to come up together. All right, so we've got Rachel, Brandon, and Kemy. Okay, Rachel's going to talk to us about Pajama Guy. If you guys have been following the saga, they are together. Last call's in 3 minutes. You guys want to get in on this and get a reading? Rachel says, I'd love a read on my relationship with Pajama Guy. We're together now. It's unbelievable. I'm having a hard time trusting it's real and letting go of the other guy who came in recently, who's always giving me gifts and trying to win me over. I'm in the middle of these two guys. Like, what do I do? What do I do, Rachel, you goddess? Let's take a look. Oh my goodness. I'm hilarious that you got the Devil card and the Lovers. Well. So, you know, here's the thing, okay? And I'm not saying that you need to punish him. That's not what I'm saying at all. But the Eight of Pentacles in the past position talks about the hard work, the dedication, the commitment, the effort that you put into this in the past. So, like, I don't know if this is like him realizing like, wow, like, you know, she put up with this and she held it down and I left and like she's still here. Like, and so he sees you as somebody who is definitely reliable. But the Eight of Coins is like perfecting. It's like doing the same task over and over and over until you become like an artisan at it, right? Literally, look at, he's working on a pod and all the fine little details and things that he's doing. So maybe it took time for him to realize it, but he realized like, wow, that's a keeper. This also makes me feel inclined to tell you that you've already done the work necessary. Like, you've already proved yourself committed to this relationship. You have been through the ringer. You've put in lots of time and effort and you've done it. I'm not saying you get to coast, but like there's no real need for you to carry the relationship. If you, for whatever reason, start getting the impression that he's slacking or, you know, he's not carrying, you know, his weight of the relationship, like you don't need to overcompensate because you've done it in the past. You know, there's not a doubt with the Devil card coming up, and this is the Temptation Devil card, with the Lovers, which is also about options, choices, and temptation. There is this sense of you being like, what would the path look like if I didn't choose Pajama Guy and if I chose the other person? And questioning if you're making the right decision, if you're falling back into the trap, or if you're falling back into old patterns, and if potentially you're giving up what could be a really good connection with another person, because the Lovers is about Gemini, diversity, two things, two separate people, two options. I think that the Devil card right now, it is reminding you that this has been a pattern in the past of, you know, going back to him. It's good for a while, then he can't quite get it together, and then, you know, you're like, what the heck? I can't get this person out of like my peripheral. I think that there is a need to really see if he's going to repeat this pattern, because I think that You know, the Lovers card is saying there is love there. There is a connection there. I don't feel like it's something that is just surfacey. I do see the Four of Wands coming up as the confirmation card. And so I do feel like this is saying that there is a path forward for long-term commitment. And like, you know, I mean, Four of Wands is not, it's sometimes in some readings seen as like a wedding card or an engagement card, or, you know, like at some point. And I'm wondering, like, is this something that's on your mind? Like, in the back of your mind, are you thinking about, like, man, I would like to settle into a committed relationship. You know, I would like to live with somebody, or I would like to get married. Because it's saying you're basing your decisions right now not necessarily off of, you know, people's past behavior. You're basing it off of their current behavior. And I don't see anything saying that he's going to leave or that he's going to slip up. I just feel like the one lesson you're learning is to not overcompensate, right? And like, I'm not going to lie, I don't see cards coming up saying that you're going to completely cut that other guy off. So I'm not saying you're going to keep seeing him, but I don't feel like there is going to be a definitive, hey, I've got a boyfriend, I'm not seeing you anymore, you know, sorry, see you later. Like, I'm not seeing that. I feel like with the Devil card coming up, there is this realization that there is a distinct connection to the other person. You're well aware that you could fall back into the same pattern of kind of getting tangled up with pajama guy and then, you know, feeling like maybe it's not the best for you. So you are leaving like a back door open. So you're like, I still have this option if I decide to go back there. But you're really trying to base things off of what's happening right now and being present with the connection right now rather than, you know, like the past. So you can't judge people based off of the past. If you're in the relationship to, you know, pajama guy, you have to give him a fair shake. You have to give him the opportunity to like hang himself if that's what he's going to do. But once you start seeing if you start seeing that he's regressing, you can't overcompensate. That's the takeaway from this is like, no, you don't do that because he has to learn to carry the weight of the relationship or at least carry his part. Four of Wands makes me feel like this is going to be something that you're really watching for the next couple of weeks. Makes sense, right? Because, you know, you happen to be a Virgo rising, and so you're having the Mercury retrograde in your 5th house of dating and relationships. So it's starting in the 5th house, it's going into the 4th house. So it means that you're reassessing the past, you're questioning whether or not you can let the past go, and you're moving forward. I would look and, you know, keep watching an eye on this. Because it makes me feel like, yeah, about 4 weeks that you're going to be feeling this out until you feel more confident. But I don't really see him, I don't see him straying. And I really feel like, you know, the Lovers card in the current position is saying he seems to be, you know, devoted and dedicated right now, I think, to trying to make it work. And it's worth giving him the benefit of the doubt and not being tempted or led, you know, in a different direction. Yeah, it's difficult because it's almost like, you know, you open yourself up to somebody else and then all of a sudden he like figured it out. And like that, I think that was like the secret, you know, like formula of it all. Once you were able to see that there was somebody else out there, it had like this adverse effect on him energetically where he was like, oh man, I'm going to like lose her. And then he came back. What kind of pajamas, Rachel? And hopefully he gets you something way nicer than pajamas for Christmas. So you're going to have to circle back and let all of us know what he got you for Christmas. And maybe he'll be like you know, full pajama set guy. Maybe he'll be a nice pair of earrings guy. Trip. Maybe he'll get you a trip or, you know, a getaway vacation. Let's give him a new name. We've got Brandon. Let's see who else. I know people were asking who I've got. I've got Brandon, Kemy, Adriana, Austin, David, Karen, and Season. Pajama pants for last year. You better make up for it. To me, it's hilarious that there's a man out there that has no idea that we call him pajama guy and that like we all know the story. He has no idea. I feel like most men don't know that women do that anyway. We have nicknames and codes. So be wise with your gifts this season, gentlemen. All right, so I've got Brandon, Kemy, and then Adriana. Brandon says, what can I expect for the first half of 2024? Let's see. What can you expect? Oh, Brandon. I've got the Three of Swords and the Justice card. You're an Aries rising, right? If I remember correctly. Well, Three of Swords talks about obviously moving through some difficult, some challenging, some heartbreaking situations. Personally, I feel like with that confirmation card of the Justice card is like coming to terms with what you can't keep in your life any longer, right? As difficult as that sounds. Three of Swords is an interesting card. Definitely one of the more difficult ones of the deck, but it also represents like having to take the swords out so you can heal. So I think about like removing them and finally like tending to wounds that need to be addressed. Could that be your Chiron transit? Probably. Could that be the fact that, you know, the Justice card can represent that you are removing certain people from your life, that you're letting certain people go, that you're having to kind of let them go and being less focused on what's leaving and more focused on the healing process and addressing the impact that it has on you. You know what I'm saying? A lot of Aries placements are going through this right now. It's a very difficult time. It's a very, very difficult time. And I think for you, it's also about learning to realize and recognize that you can't be fixated on the idea of relationships, support, partnerships, collaboration. It's about being more focused on, supporting yourself and giving yourself what you need and not allowing yourself to feel like you're being let down, or maybe, you know, focusing too much on what's being lost, because I think certain things are being removed for you to realize that it may not necessarily be the friendships, the relationships, the connections that are best for you. Makes sense, man, especially, you know, being in Aries rising, all these retrogrades and these things that are going on currently in your 12th house. There's a lot of reassessing, like, who do I want to be out in the world? And it's obviously coming into friction with, you know, who you're letting go of and who you're becoming. So you might kind of feel like you're in limbo. So prioritize the healing process is the best advice I can give you. And I think you'll start to see, especially like right around like just knowing the Aries horoscope, you know, after February, things start to kind of lighten up a little bit and you start to really develop community with other people. So I do see if there are changes in relationships and connection with people, like other people are going to kind of come in to help kind of soften that. Hopefully that's helpful. We've got Kemy. She says, hey Candace, thanks for everything you do. I have a job offer that has been in limbo for a few months. Will I get the job or should I move on? The job market is so tough and I just want to work. I'm a Taurus with a Cancer rising and Pisces moon, Taurus sun. Well, what I'll tell you is the Cancer rising horoscope with a Mercury retrograde in your 6th, right? So the retrograde starts in your 7th of relationships and Capricorn, right? So relationships with other people. The retrograde into your 6th is about returning back to work or reassessing your work schedule, or maybe it can be about making changes in your health. But Mercury will conjunct Mars. So it'll be in your 6th house of returning to work. Mars rules your 10th house. Likely you may find that there is an answer that comes like at the end of December with that conjunction. And then, yeah, definitely with Jupiter and Uranus being in Taurus, it's really good for Taurus suns for career as well. In your 11th house, your sun might represent going and working with like a bigger company. It's kind of the feeling that I'm getting. The Moon card and the Queen of Cups is the confirmation card. Look about what's happening around the full moon, right? So you're going to have a full moon that's going to be in Cancer. So obviously that's going to be in your sign, but it's going to sextile the 11th house So maybe it is possible that you get that invitation to go and join a team. I feel like the moon card also is talking about like being like, I don't know, I feel like it could happen, but I'm not sure if it could happen. Like, I don't see it so clearly. As silly as it sounds, you know, I feel like that coming up with the Queen of Cups as the confirmation is like not allowing yourself to be so emotionally consumed and stressed out about the invitation. When you shift from being like, is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? To being like, a job is coming. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be super abundant. Everything's working out for me. That's when you're going to see the shift happen. And likely you'll get a call when you least expect it because of Mercury's connection to your 12th house, because of Mercury's connection to your 3rd house. And so when the retrograde happens, I could definitely see a situation where you're like, okay, I'm not going to sit around and wait for this job. I'm going to keep applying to other things. And maybe you're going through the application process or even the interview process for a job, and you're like accepting something, and then this job comes back when you least expect it, when you don't see it coming. So it's more about shifting your consciousness away from, you know, fixating on that job and just being like, something is coming in, it's going to happen. I'm going to be working. I'm working, you know, very quickly. I'm accepting calls. And then all of a sudden, right when you're going in one direction, it's going to pop back up. So yeah, I guess really what I'm saying is don't focus on that it's not happening, because that's actually what's delaying the process. Because Cancers, they get so like emotionally like tied to, you know, worst case scenarios sometimes, or like, what if this doesn't happen, or what if that doesn't happen? And also networking is so important because, you know, Jupiter rules your 6th house of work, and you've got Jupiter and Uranus in the 11th house. So networking, meeting with other people, talking to friends, you know, going out and doing some professional kind of lunches and other things where you could meet other people who could help get you connected. And then you've got eclipses working in your 10th house too. So actually Cancer rising horoscopes got a lot of strength the next couple of months for work and career. I just think it's going to be when you least expect it. Good luck. Sending you lots of good work, Juju. Let's see. So we have got Adriana, and then Austin, and then David. Adriana says, can I please get a love reading? What do I need to know? I am a Libra rising, Sag moon, Virgo sun. Okay, let's take a look. So moon's in the 3rd house, sun's in the 12th house. Let's get this love reading for you. All right, Adriana, this is for you. The Devil is the card of the evening, you guys. It has made itself known. So we've got the Devil, the Tower, and the 6 of Cups. My goodness. To me, this is like a lot of like, are you in any way, shape, or form tempted or thinking about the past? Are you holding on to the past? Are you focused on a reconciliation? Are you having a difficult time letting somebody go? Is there somebody who's still reaching out to you? What is going on? I think about how, as a Libra rising, you will see in the retrograde, Mercury will come into conjunction with Mars, okay? And Mars rules your 7th house. So just some food for thought. Watch for that. There could be a phone call, email, text message, somebody from the past that kind of comes back. You'll see that at the end of the month. The reason why I say this is because the Devil card in the Tower is basically saying, like, you don't want to fall back into old patterns where you're getting stuck on someone or something if it's not providing you with solid or secure foundations moving forward. Reconnection is also the 6 of Cups. It can mean that there is this sense of being like, okay, you know, I am just trying to kind of get back used to myself. I'm working on my own energies. I'm not allowing somebody else to interfere. I think it can be hard not to be kind of like thinking about the past right now because you have retrogrades taking place in your 4th house. So there can be a sense of like dreams and other vibes and feelings that can be coming up relating to the past. But for me, like the Devil and the Tower card is saying, like, can I let the past go? Can I truly move forward? Am I in a situation where I feel stuck, right? The Devil card can be about like being stuck and like not allowing yourself to kind of like get over or open up or move on to another person. The Tower card also talks about being in a situation right now where you feel like things are being kind of broken down to be reconstructed. So I don't see this as a situation where you're like, you know, okay, you're going to be, you know, focusing on a new relationship, or you're going to be meeting somebody new. No, it's saying like this is like rotor-rootering everything in regards to your emotional or your relationship past. Maybe staying open to the idea of having a connection that could be light and also like sincere. I definitely feel like the Six of Cups is about being open to soulmate energy. It's about having something that is sweet and nice and not chaotic and not confrontational and not sticky, because these energies feel like you're getting stuck like a fly on fly paper in the same relationship cycles over and over. And the Six of Cups is saying like, no, I want something that's going to be genuine, and I want something that's going to feel good, not something that feels chaotic, that you're kind of clearing that stuff out. Confirmation card is the Page of Wands. So you may find that there is a connection that comes with a fire sign. So it can be an Aries or a Sagittarius or a Leo. But it looks like it would be the very beginning process of like meeting somebody, getting out there, having some fun, but still having to be really present with the clearing out process, right? That apparently needs to be happening right now. Anyway, I hope that's helpful. And if there is a reconnection that happens, just think about it very carefully before you decide to go back there. Be careful with repeating some of the same patterns. Hopefully that's helpful for you. Let's see, who do we have here? So we have Austin. Okay. And it looks like somebody donated a reading for Sonia. Thank you to that anonymous donor. So we'll take Austin. Austin says, hey Candace, feeling a bit hard to express myself with Mercury retrograding exclusively in my first house. Communication with my long distance partner has been filled with a lot of miscommunications. I'm going to visit her this winter into New Year. My Saturn return, which inches closer as we get into March as well. What advice can you offer? Thanks for everything you do. Well, you're welcome. Let's see. Difficult having Mercury retrograde in the first. Hard to find the words. One thing I would say to take into consideration is that Mercury is connected to Saturn, right? So your Saturn is in Pisces, obviously. So while Mercury is retrograding, the dispositor is Saturn. So if you're a Capricorn rising, then you've got Saturn in your third. I'm not sure if you're a Capricorn or you're a Sag rising. You could be one of the two with Mercury in your first house. But it's about communicating your feelings, or it's about making decisions about home. One of those two things is coming up. So I see this like sextile between Mercury and Saturn, and the fact that, you know, Saturn is the dispositor for Mercury, for getting you ready. Okay, Sag rising, for getting you ready to realize and recognize that emotions seem a little displaced, that, you know, honestly, Saturn in Pisces is challenging because it's about making sense of things that don't make sense. You're a mutt. Okay, I got it. So the retrograde is starting in your second house of, you know, values, resources, personal self-esteem. So I could see like a retrograde in the second into the first is like, do I feel good about what I'm going to say? And Mercury rules your 7th house, right? And your 10th house of status. So there's a sense of maybe questioning or doubting whether or not you guys feel good. And you're like, are we good? Like, should I say something to like make this feel more stable? Do I need to move around a little bit? You know, am I sure this is what I want to say? Anyway, there is a connection there basically that's prepping you for your Saturn's return, just a heads up. All right, so in regards to this, I mean, you know, the Fool, the Four of Pentacles, and the Ten of Wands, I feel like this is about you going, I'm trying to be optimistic and turn over a new leaf and be more focused on where I'm going rather than feeling like you're getting stuck in the mud with where you've been. You're also starting to feel Saturn coming into a square with your ascendant, but you were born with that square from what it sounds like. So you're going to manage it better than most people. Sagittarius rising, loud, proud, you know, they're expressive. They like to travel. They're very independent and they're kind of spicy. Nothing can really slow them down except for a Saturn transit. So when Saturn's going through your third, going into your fourth house, it's having you doubt yourself or question if you should tone it down a little bit or slow down, or it's trying to get you to think about the emotional aftermath of some of that fire. So perhaps maybe rather than just blowing through things or moving through things without processing feelings or, you know, making decisions without, you know, questioning how it's going to impact you financially, emotionally, or your home life, you're like, actually, let me go about this from a different way, right? Let me approach things a little bit differently. Yeah, Saturn in the fourth is challenging. Saturn square the ascendant is challenging, but I do think that what it teaches you is to really reassess which qualities of your rising sign you want to carry forth with you, right? Which ones do you want to carry into the future? Which ones do you want to leave behind? Where do some of those characteristics actually inhibit your ability to feel heard or to, you know, enjoy where you're living? Four of Pentacles makes me feel like you're taking a much more kind of grounded, practical, stable approach. Like you're trying to stay the path rather than just cutting and running. So I'm kind of feeling like maybe you're like, okay, I'm not just going to have a meltdown and like kind of like, you know, crash the relationship. I'm going to give myself the time to really reassess things and be patient with the communication. When Mercury goes retrograde back into Sagittarius, it's in your first house. Okay. So what it's going to be doing for you is it's going to, first of all, be in its fall. So it's difficult to communicate in that sense. Secondly, it's going to be retrograde and Mercury rules your seventh house. So there can be like this mirroring effect where the things that you're experiencing in your relationship with your partner, you could be doing those things as well. So if both parties are like miscommunicating, if both parties are being standoffish, if both parties are kind of anxious, there's going to be a difficult time communicating. And all of these squares taking place to Saturn and Neptune really talk about perception. So we see issues with like people having serious conversations over text message. No, you're not going to get the tone so people can, you know, take things the wrong way. Try to communicate in person. And if you can't do that, then at least do it over the phone or do it over FaceTime. So that way you can actually see that person. So you're removing anything that would create some kind of like Neptunian misunderstanding. But the important thing is that you're staying in it. You're not cutting and running, right? So that's what you're really trying to do. So there is some growth here. The 10 of Wands is saying that, you know, it feels heavy, it feels challenging now, but you're going to overcome it. This is about completing cycles, and this is about finally moving on from something that's been difficult. The Sun card is coming up as the confirmation, which I feel like is also saying like it's going to end up being okay. Really think about your astrology in the next year, right? Saturn's going to continue to go through Pisces. You're going to have Jupiter that's going to go into Gemini. You will see by mid next year that a relationship's expanding, but a home situation is contracting. And so you're going to have to make a decision about, for the relationship to grow, do I move or do they move, right? Or do we continue to do this back and forth and, you know, do we feel limited into the future? It is possible that, you know, this situation is actually teaching you that, you know, some really valuable communication skills that I think that you would need if you're going to really be able to make bigger decisions down the road about the relationship and where you live. So if you guys can make it work in a long distance situation, I really feel like you're going to have a much better likelihood and an outcome of being able to, you know, take the jump and make a leap of faith and move in together, or talk about more serious forms of communication and commitment, right? Anyway, this too shall pass, and you'll see that you're going to be coming out the other side. But, you know, Saturn in Pisces also is like, people can't read your mind, right? That's something you need to remember. People can't read your mind. And if you're misunderstanding, or if you're taking something personally, or if you're holding back from saying something, then it's going to be important for you to be like, okay, maybe I'm not expressing myself clearly. Like, let me get everything written down, or let me really take a little bit more time to really process my emotions before I say something. Jupiter and Uranus conjunct exactly on my moon, which is the cusp degree of my 5th and 6th house. So, let's see, wait a second. Oh yeah, Taurus moon. Okay. Well, it's in your 5th house, so it might be about, moving in with a partner, right? If it's in your 5th, it probably will be about moving with a partner, self-employment, other things, kids, whatever. But as far as I'm concerned, looking at this, I really feel like there's a lot to learn about making the decision to stay and writing it out. And like, if you're feeling like you need to have important conversations, do not be doing it while Mercury's in Sag. Do it while, the Mercury-Jupiter trine is happening. We're going to have one of these this week. We'll have another one in January. But yeah, there's an opportunity to overcome this. And I think you're learning through some of the difficult times how to better kind of manage in a relationship in the long term. So there is like a good outcome here. Hope that's helpful for you. Is Sonia still here? I didn't see her question, but I know that somebody donated a reading for her. Let's see, where is she? Thank you. Appreciate it, Austin. Good luck. Good luck. And Queen of Lightbulbs, I got you too. Okay, Sonia. Is she here? Okay, well, it looks like Sonia's going to be moving. I saw that earlier. That's also in my comment here. Let's see. I wish I could get a card reading tonight. I got an offer to move to Tennessee from Washington State. Happy to be here. Much love. Okay, well, we're going to give you a reading, Sonia. Hopefully you can see this. This was donated by somebody. I know you've been having so much stress going on with the living situation. I remember you had stuff going on with the smoke in Washington and your animals and your family that you were taking care of. You've been through it, girl. So let's see what the cards say for you in terms of this potential move. Okay, this potential move to Tennessee. These are the cards that I get. The Hierophant, the Page of Pentacles, the King of Wands. I like this. I feel like the Hierophant is saying like somebody is talking to you more about long-term planning and strategy and like what's going to offer you the best support into the future, like where you're going to have the most room for growth. This can also be about somebody who is like counseling you. This can be about somebody who's giving you advice. This can be about somebody who's like an elder or somebody who is able to kind of say like, look, I think this would be a good move for you. I think that you would have a fresh start here. I think you'd have the opportunity to have more opportunities. And they're basically trying to kind of like look out for you and guide the situation. So I'm not sure who that is, but that's what's coming up. Then we have the Page of Pentacles and the King of Wands. And so the Page of Pentacles is the offer and the opportunity. It does seem like this is either going to be more affordable or it's going to be a situation where you would have the opportunity to grow and like receive more abundance or more opportunity. You know, pages are about fresh starts and planting a seed. And so this might also indicate that, you know, this comes with an opportunity for a job, or this is going to come with an opportunity for you to be able to learn a new skill, or for you to move into a situation where, you know, you're learning more about something that could actually be valuable for you in the future. Somebody might say, come here, work for me. I've got a place for you. And like, you would be able to not only survive, but feel comfortable and develop some set of skills that could be really important for you in the future. Also, I see like that King of Wands coming up. So I wonder, like, is this like, you know, male family members? Is this a friend of the family? Is this somebody who's saying, you know, come and live here with me and my kid? There could be younger people involved with the page. But the King of Wands is talking about action, adventure, taking a chance, being able to master something, you know, being present with the moment and like going and doing something that's outside of your comfort zone and mastering it. The Fool card is the confirmation card, and I'm looking at that and I'm like, you know, I feel like this is about you going back and forth, being like, I have to weigh my options and decide what's going to be best for me in the long run. You know, am I going to take the advice that's being given to me and take a chance and try to go and do something different? At the very least, I feel like it's going to provide what you need, you know, to survive and also to feel comfortable. But at the very most, like, it looks like it could be fun. There could be an opportunity for you to have a lot of support from either family or friends. And it also looks to me like it would be about exploring. You know, the Fool card is about going places that you haven't been before and like trying something different. And obviously going from Washington to Tennessee, that's such a different place. But I also feel like this is about you getting an opportunity to have a fresh start and start over. So I'm wondering what that's about. Is that about you being like, okay, I don't usually, you know, move places where I don't know people. I don't travel by myself. You know, I haven't left the state. There is this sense of you being like, okay, this is going to be something totally different. But I feel like it's going to give you the opportunity maybe to at least have community that's going to help you feel supported and not so alone. But also I think that there's going to be like a new job opportunity that's going to come from this, that's going to kind of make you feel like you have more freedom and more confidence also. And whoever this is that's giving you advice, like, they're giving you really good advice because it seems like they know you and they're like, hey, I really feel like you should be here. It could be a good change for you. So I hope that that's helpful. Keep me updated. Intuitive says, I grabbed your calendar. Well, thank you. Yeah, we've got 2024 calendars, and other people are talking about the New Year's Day. We're going to be here New Year's Day doing a live reading of 2024's astrology. I won't be doing readings. I'll be talking about what's happening in 2024. We've got Karen. Karen's an Aquarius sun, 22 degrees, Leo rising, 10 degree, and Scorpio moon. What can I expect for next year? Focusing on love, crush on a woman in a relationship. Wishing you all a Merry Christmas. What's up, Karen? All right, well, we should be friends. My North Node's on your sun, and your moon is my sun. Okay, so let's see. What can Karen expect for this next year? What's going on? Oh, there's two Karens? Well, if this is the first Karen, I already did your reading. You were the Scorpio Sun, Pisces Moon. It's right after Vanessa, so you should be able to watch it right after the playback, but I did your reading. All right, so this is for Karen number 2. All right, let's take a look. So 2024, what does she need to know? What can you expect? Focusing on your love life. So this was the order. We've got the Star card, the King of Cups, and the Six of Cups. And the confirmation card is the Six of Swords. I love this for you. I feel like the Star card is really saying that you're really tapping into that Aquarius energy, right? Being an Aquarius sun right now with Uranus square your sun, I would imagine is quite colorful because you've got Uranus that's going through your 10th house of career. It is, you know, squaring basically your 7th house, your 7th house sun. So Uranus is at the top of the chart, squaring your ascendant, squaring your descendant. And it's wild times in terms of your career and also your relationship. So lots of things are changing. But the Star card is saying it's helping you get into alignment with what your real dreams are, what your goals are. This is about feeling a part of a community and connected. It can mean that you're embracing more of this Aquarius energy. The Uranian energies next year are so strong with Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus. Very big for your career. And then Pluto's going into Aquarius too. So this really tells me that for you, I think it's going to be about being like, you know what, I have to feel good about doing something wild and crazy in regards to relationships and falling madly in love with somebody or taking up really quickly or maybe doing something that's kind of scandalous, right? That is very possible. I think the overall horoscope for Leo risings is about some dramatic change in a relationship. And it can mean that you fall madly in love with someone. It can mean also, like as an Aquarius sun, that it's hard for you to hide your emotions and hide your feelings, which makes sense because you have the King of Cups coming up. So it's saying that you're like, okay, I'm trying to get a handle on these feelings, but at the same time, like, the heart wants what the heart wants, and if I feel really passionate about someone or something, I'm going to wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm going to go after it. I could definitely see, especially in the spring of 2024, with Jupiter and Uranus in your 10th house, that there is some sudden kind of shift in regard to your relationships, and it happens very suddenly and very abruptly, and it might mean that you meet somebody while they're kind of going through some relationship changes with Pluto in your 7th. But, you know, the heart wants what the heart wants when you've got the King of Cups. I do feel like this is about you having a handle on your emotions. It's not like they're running away with you, but you're more willing to like admit and acknowledge where you really, really, really know how you feel. And maybe you're feeling more vulnerable and expressing yourself as well. That Six of Cups is about soulmate energy, relationships, you know, commitment, but it's like feeling like divine timing is taking place and you're kind of getting set up with or aligned with somebody at the right time. Intuitively, I feel like with that Six of Swords coming up as the confirmation card, it's almost like there's somebody who's on their way to you, but they might be in limbo right now. They might still be moving or relocating. They might still be going through some relationship changes or challenges or trying to get out of something before you meet them. But 2 sixes are coming up. So I really feel like the element of 6 weeks, 6 months seems to be the shift. But I just know, knowing the astrology, that April, May, June 2024, that's like when the wheels come off and there is huge growth and sudden changes in your relationships and your career. And I feel like it's because you're unwilling to settle for anything less than what you know that you're totally wild about. So with career and relationships, that's where you're at. You'll connect with somebody, even if it's not just this person that we're talking about now. I would say look for people who have really significant Aquarius signatures. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising with the Star card coming up. Also, it can be somebody who's got like a really strong Uranus kind of placement or transit that's got going on right now. But yeah, I mean, the Six of Cups is about a reunion or a connection card. It's just about this other person still kind of finding their way to you. But I think you'll be surprised how much is changing for you in the spring of 2024. It's a reunion of sorts. And I don't know if it's somebody from the past that's coming back, but I think it's like more like past life because it's saying it's something that you've been wishing and hoping for that's finally going to like come true. Hopefully that's helpful for you. We've got Queen of Lightbulbs. Says, transit Pluto is conjunct my south node and opposite my natal moon. Ouch. Transit south node is conjunct my natal Pluto, squaring my sun. Ouch. Everyone and everything keeps telling me to move and get a job, but I moved last year and every time I resolve the current life crisis, another one pops up. Adding to the load. Moving and a new career are more than I can handle or do effectively. Life has felt like a cruel joke for the last 3 years. I'm pretty over it, done with this toxic relationship with reality. Where should I focus my energy to make it through this that is manageable? Solution, meeting me where I'm at. Okay, let's take a look. So first of all, can I get your sun, moon, and rising? There we go. Cancer, sun, Leo, rising, Aries, moon. Okay. So one thing I would say is that when you're experiencing planets on the south node and planets on the north node, you're working with the past and the future. They're affecting each other, right? So without seeing a chart, trying to see this in my mind's eye. So Pluto is conjunct your south node, so you are dealing with this collective releasing and letting go in Capricorn. So that is about power and control. And that's opposite your natal moon. But your moon is in Aries, so Pluto is not opposite your natal moon. So Pluto is square your natal moon. Conjunct your south node, square your natal moon. Transit south node is conjunct your natal Pluto, squaring your natal sun. So you're dealing with changes with career, and you're also dealing with changes in regards to your home and your emotions. Okay, cool, thank you. 29 degrees Cancer sun. So Pluto's in opposition to your sun, so that is about potential home and career change. 6 degrees Aries moon, 27 degrees Leo rising. Okay, cool. Thank you, that helps. Let's take a look. Let's see. Pluto transits are long. That's part of this. You know, you're still going to have Pluto in and out of that opposition to your sun for the next year. But you're getting ready to have planets that are going to be coming into conjunction with the south node here pretty soon as well. That's going to help you kind of cut from the past and clear things up. All right, so let's see what these cards have to say for you. Death card, Sun, 3 of Swords. Okay, well, here's how I see this. Probably the 2 more challenging cards in the deck that you could pull would be the 3 of Swords and the Death card. At least you pulled it in that order, okay? And you got to like laugh at the fact that the Sun got thrown in there. The Sun isn't always about happy things. The Sun is definitely about being able to shine a light on the situation and literally showing you like, okay, look at it, right? This is what you have to see right now. So the 3 of Swords is talking about pain, something that hasn't been working, where you have felt stuck in a situation for some time, where you've been reluctant maybe to let go, and now you're finally acknowledging the pain or the trauma. I also think it's like a Leo rising, you know, You've got Uranus that's at the top part of your chart. So it's not just the Pluto stuff that's happening. It's also Uranus is at the top part of the chart saying time to completely innovate what's going on with your career. Time to make changes in that department as well. It's not necessarily just about the Sun-Pluto stuff that's happening. But the Sun in the current position is really saying like, you know, where are you focusing less on what's ending and more on what's beginning? The Sun can be about career. It can be about overall happiness. It can be about your connection to solar figures like, you know, partners, you know, committed relationships, bosses, husbands, father figures. It's a positive card. We literally have life and we have death. So it's saying that if you're getting super caught up in this isn't working, this is broken, you know, I'm in a position where I'm stuck, I'm not moving anywhere. It's because there is a sense of not really breaking with these things that are no longer providing you with like life and happiness and like fulfillment. So when you look at it and you go, okay, I'm letting this go. I literally have to move away from these things. Then you're able to really kind of activate the Death card, which is the promise of new beginnings, right? The Death card in the final position is saying one way or another, things are going to change. It's just a matter of how you're going to approach and look at this change. You know, sometimes with Pluto transits, one of the most difficult things can be about actually letting something go, especially Pluto at 28, 29 degrees. This is where we want to have the most control. So to me, it sounds like if you have Pluto on your south node in the late degrees, part of the karma of what you're learning about is I have to let go of this need for control, right? And in Capricorn, if you're a Leo rising, it's happening in your 6th house. Habits, patterns, health, and work. Those are the things that you're letting go of. Well, what are you here to gain then, right? If the North Node is, you know, currently, you know, moving through Aries as a Leo rising. It's moving through your 9th house. So you're learning, you're traveling, you're bringing in a sense of new belief system. You're maybe meeting a new teacher or a new philosopher or a mentor, somebody who can kind of bring you in and kind of guide you. This is about taking action with your faith and your beliefs. That's what this is about. So one of the ways through this, especially because that's going to trine your ascendant, right? And that's going to start coming into sextiles with other placements in your chart. The way through this is about changing the way that you look at your philosophy, and it might be about integrating more of a faith-based practice. But once again, having planets on the south node, having planets on the north node, planets squaring the sun, especially, you know, with the opposition. The opposition, in my mind, is a lot harder than a square because a square is just going to force you to make a change. Pluto in opposition to your sun is already saying you're having a crisis of faith, that there is a need for you to kind of work through that as well. And the sun, when it's at 29 degrees, basically means that there is something going on karmically where you're having to complete cycles revolving around home, family, your connection to your roots, and it sounds like it's in your 12th house. So this is about working through habits where, you know, those habits with home and family and emotions are blocking or inhibiting you from being able to work. And now you've got, you know, on the positive side, these nodes that are now trining and making other aspects to, you know, your ascendant and also to your 9th house. So traveling, learning, movement, right? These are going to be the things that are going to help you move through this the most. I have not met a single Cancer sun who's had that opposition that was not put in a position of being told that they have to quit their job and move. I'm not saying you should, I'm just saying that's generally what I've seen. And I think I would also just take into consideration the Uranus square, because Uranus being the ruler of your 7th house and it's at the top part of your chart, hitting your midheaven, squaring things, is saying the way forward is reworking something about your professional life, right? Reworking something about reinventing what you're doing, who you are, what you're doing out in the world. And that Uranus square is going to square your ascendant and your descendant for about 2 years. So relationships are going to be, you know, what they're going to be, especially with Pluto going into Aquarius. So you want to focus on what you're willing to do out in the world. And if that means, you know, taking a job in another place so you can relocate, or, you know, doing something different for work and getting out of the house, those things will really help you. And you want to also think about, because Pluto rules your 4th house as a Leo rising, and Pluto is in opposition to your sun, it's basically saying, like, there are some habits and routines within the home or within your day-to-day life or within work that's not healthy. So it's literally trying to put you into a different position. So as much as I hate to say work is the answer, work may actually get you out of your home, get you out of your funk, and it might give you an opportunity to do something different, even if it's something that's sporadic and inconsistent, and it's, you know, not necessarily, you know, something that you're going to be doing forever, right? And of course, you know, astrology becomes an interest in that transit because you're having Jupiter and Uranus coming into conjunction. So it tells me that you might be learning more about how astrology is actually affecting you, and it might bring up more of an interest in, you know, of some of this stuff. I also think that, you know, part of the, I can't reinvent fast enough to pay the bills. Well, I mean, the nice thing is the Ace of Pentacles is a confirmation card. So it's saying that the results of going through this change is more stability, better resources, and feeling a little bit more financially secure. So it's like you can't really beat that. But yeah, the Pluto at 29 is where we have to really just kind of like let go and let God. And so I think for you, it's about the willingness to change your schedule and the ability to be open to adopting new things out in the world that you can be doing. And like I said, when you focus more on letting things go, then new things are going to be emerging. But it looks like something is going to be coming for you that's going to be really exciting, because it's going to give you the opportunity to feel like you can actually like feel secure and stable again. But it's going to be something completely different than I think what you've been doing for work in the past. I hope that's helpful. Yeah, those Pluto transits are pesky. My video for Astro Weather this week is all about Pluto at 29 degrees, so we're going to talk about it. You should definitely catch it. I'm pretty sure that was everybody for this week. Yep, we got them. We will be back next Friday. We're going to be doing live readings on the channel. We're going to be doing tarot. So if you guys want to catch that, you can. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and make sure you click the subscription button below before we sign off on the live. Next week, we're going to be doing horoscopes, and we've got a full moon in Cancer video that's also going to be coming up here pretty soon. So we've got lots of good stuff coming out for you guys soon. If you guys do want to join me for my New Year's party that we're going to be doing on New Year's Day, you can hang out with me and hang out in the chat, watch the stream. We're going to talk about the astrology of next year. Tickets are on sale for $11.11. Click the link in the description below, and you can be a part of that and help me ring in the new year, and hopefully hang on and get ready for some of these big energies in 2024. If you guys want to book a personal reading with me, or if you want to check out any of my astrology prints or my calendars, or maybe you want to give the gift of a reading, or maybe have one with me in private one-on-one, go to beyondtheveiltarot.com. You guys can see my availability. You can make an appointment with me, and I look forward to being able to connect with all of you guys very soon. Thanks for spending Friday night with me. I'll see you guys back here in just a couple of days. You enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take care.